This three-page document is DoD's timeline of the planning and response to the violent attacks at the U.S. Capitol. It gives us a day-by-day and in some cases minute-by-minute account of what happened, starting on New Year's Eve, when D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser first asked for National Guard help. That request was approved for support on missions including traffic control and at metro stations. But in the days leading up to January 6, when asked multiple times, Capitol Police said there is no request for DoD support.
We need to learn the lessons from Wednesday, January 6th, so that we can better protect and safeguard the Capitol, the building itself, and the people who work there and visit every day.
Lessons learned can come from this timeline. It gets more detailed on January 6, where we learn about all the back and forth it took to get National Guard help to the Capitol. At 1:05, the Assistant Secretary of Defense gets the first inkling something could be wrong. Reports the crowds are moving to the Capitol. 21 minutes later, Capitol Police order the evacuation of the complex. In the next 56 minutes, while rioters are ransacking the Capitol, there are at least 3 phone calls to talk about sending in additional Guard support. They go between National Guard, Army, Capitol Police, MPD, Mayor Bowser, and other D.C. officials. 8 minutes after the last phone call, senior defense officials meet. A half hour after that, almost a full 2 hours after they first heard something might be wrong, DoD then decides all available D.C. National Guard forces are in fact required to help take back the Capitol. 4 minutes later at 3:04 p.m., while crowds grow more violent and lawmakers are huddled in safe rooms, the Guard begins full mobilization. It happened 3 days after Capitol Police said they would not need DoD support on January 6th. But it wasn't until 5:40, 2.5 hours later, that 154 newly mobilized troops arrived at the Capitol to swear in with police and get to work. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, Capitol Police say the building is finally secure.
There was multiple failures.
Retired Army Major Mike Lyons has spent the last 15 years doing military analysis. The main failure he sees was a lack of pre-planning. It is needed to muster the National Guard. Remember, they are citizen soldiers. They have regular day jobs and need time to deploy.
They're not always ready. They're not in a situation where they're, serving all the time there from a numbers perspective that they would need. So you've got to give the military some kind of time there. Well, in this case, we didn't have that time to spare.
Because of that, at 3 o'clock, when the Guard was finally mobilized, Lyons says it was almost too late to prevent the violence and destruction we saw.
You weren't going to get those individuals deployed to a situation where they can impact on the ground in time, based on how fast it was moving, how fast it moved after the rally concluded. So then it became panic.
As for what can be done to make sure this delay doesn't happen again, Lyons says the military will continue to learn in the after-action review. But first and foremost, he believes there must be better planning and intelligence ahead of time to know what will be needed on the ground. The DoD Inspector General just announced it will be investigating the military's roles, responsibilities, and response to the January 6th riot. No word yet on exactly how long that will take.